waiting for motivation to happen. Guys, I spent this summer feeling a little bit overwhelmed with my disciplines. I just couldn't quite get them back to where they had been a couple of years ago. My brain was just overwhelmed all the time, and I decided that September would come and I would take action, but nothing happened. I was waiting to feel like I could grasp the idea of discipline again in my life. But revelation has occurred, and these are the 7 things I am quitting. Actually, I've already quit over the last month, and what I will continue to do to kick off 2026 like a rock star, but end 2025 already feeling like I got my life together to some degree. So we're gonna go into what wasn't working for me and what changed, and exactly the steps that I've taken to fit back into my jeans again, you guys. Number 1 is really hard to admit because the first one I had to overcome, this first habit, was this habit of making excuses because I was already in a healthy body. At the end of the summer, I had some blood work done that said I was pretty close to pre-diabetic. Being in a healthy BMI and not really feeling like this desire to lose weight was starting to affect the way that I was showing up with my discipline and health. I was struggling to stay disciplined even though I knew I needed to, but I just had felt like I'm looking pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good. So why bother changing? Little did I know the sugar, the small little things that I wasn't doing for my health were actually impacting me in a big way. And it wasn't until I prayed and asked God to show me how are these habits affecting me right now that I could truly see where He wanted me to make some shifts. The second habit I felt like was a huge thing I needed to change was this comparison habit that I thought I had overcome. But guys, it sneaks up on all of us. We are just not immune to this comparison trap. Galatians 6 verse 4 and 5 says, each one should test their own actions. Then they can take pride in themselves alone without comparing themselves to someone else. For each one should carry their own load. Social media is the most difficult place to exist sometimes, you guys. As a coach, I am online a lot, and I get caught up in seeing what's working for other people, not necessarily in the health and wellness world, because God has spent a lot of years unpacking that for me, but now I tend to get sucked into how are other coaches doing? What's their magic trick? And I start to get sucked into this idea that I must just not be doing it the right way, which leads to a whole lot of joy sapping. And as God revealed this to me, I was like, oh my goodness, my girls on YouTube are gonna love this because it's the same for body. When we have this comparison thing going on, we really struggle to show up on our own discipline because we never think we're getting it right. We just constantly look at other people and we're like, oh my goodness, I need to get what they have going on. I need to do it their way so that it will finally work. This is what I decided I had to do. I had to take some time off of social media so that I could ask God where He wanted my business to grow and where He wanted me to invest my time. If you are working on your health and wellness right now, it is so crucial that you ask God what you need to take away, what you need to stop observing to stop this kind of comparison trap that we get caught up in with this health and wellness crazy world that we live in. The third one is the all or nothing thinking. You guys have heard this before, but I'm going to tell you guys how this has kind of affected me because, to be honest, I thought I was out of the all or nothing thinking. I'm so happy to live in just a gray area where I like to have a Diet Coke every once in a while, but I also like to juice some lemons and ginger and be really healthy. I like to be somewhere in the middle. But what I was noticing is that extremes creep up in the strangest ways. I was finding that with my own coaching, I was giving all these beautiful ideas to other women on how they can get strong, how they can do their workouts of the very best way so that they can actually gain muscle, not waste time, and see results, especially as we're getting older. It feels like we need to find the right thing, and I know that that was overwhelming for so many people. I had spent so much time creating for other people that I had started to feel this pressure that if I don't work out the same way that I'm teaching other people to work out, then it's all a loss. My workouts became, instead of this beautiful discipline that I was doing to honor God with my body, they became this way that I had to sort of measure up in order to be a productive and good coach. For you guys, you might be comparing yourself to the girl that's doing HIIT cardio 6 days a week, thinking that your short little bursts of weightlifting each week just aren't gonna cut it. But the thing is that we're all different and we all have these unique and beautiful goals, and we're all in such different seasons of life. If I had the same expectations for myself when all 5 of my kids were little, I would have failed really poorly. And actually, I did. I failed 100 times over. I had really high expectations for myself when my kids were little, and it didn't really work out for me. And a lot of that had to do with this idea that I had to be all or nothing. I decided to take up discipline for myself once again, which felt so good. I started leaving the house, letting someone else lead me through workouts, not thinking about gaining muscle, doing it the right way because I'm in my late 30s. I just wanted to move my body as an act of worship again. And it has been the most beautiful thing, transformed my body already in a month. I can see a huge difference. I am feeling so strong and so fit and so happy to be going into the end of the year feeling this way. The next thing I had to overcome in order to step back into the discipline that I felt called to was this people-pleasing, toxic thing going on in my head that was preventing me from actually doing the workouts. We've all felt it, that mom guilt, that, oh, I don't have time, I gotta clean, my kids need me, I couldn't leave the house for 30 minutes for a walk, it's just too busy of a season. I often get like this on weekends. I don't know what it is, but it's like my husband's home and I feel like every waking moment is devoted to spending time with him, which I love. We've been married for 17 years and I love spending time with him, and we don't see a lot of each other during the week. But what I was noticing is that while he was relaxing, watching the game, I was wandering around going, oh my goodness, what should I do to be with him? When I probably could have just taken a 20-minute prayer walk and felt equally as wonderful as what he was doing, which was watching the game. We all relax differently. We don't need to morph ourselves into someone else so that they can feel like we're pleasing them in some way. Living to people please will never be pleasing to God. The next one, and probably the most important one of all of these things, is being able to play your tape forward. Playing the tape forward is a term that was coined from Alcoholics Anonymous, people that were trying to give up drinking. They would play the tape forward to see what would the consequence be if I did this action. So this is something really hard, especially if you struggle with ADHD. Comment below if you are someone who feels like I'm either someone who wasn't diagnosed or I must have something going on, because ADHD feels like all of us ladies that are entering almost our 40s are suddenly getting diagnosed with this. And it's beautiful because we can learn a lot about ourselves, but at the same time, we might be feeling like, why can't I make decisions out of the wise part of my brain? Why can't my thinking brain be in charge of all these choices that I'm making? For myself, this has been a huge revelation to why I've been such an impulsive person. The reason behind my years of binge eating and dieting and weight regain, not all of it came from this idea of body hatred. A lot of it came from just impulsive behaviors and not being able to play that tape forward. The best thing that you can do is sit down with a journal and play out what things look like if you do certain things. For example, if you take the habit of eliminating sugar, what might happen for you? What will happen if you decide to eat a whole cake? Is there a consequence to that? Can you play the tape forward? Can you rehearse the tape? Can you decide if that's an outcome that you want to happen? Because when we do this, we give our brain another option, another way out, so to speak. And so when we're stuck in those moments of craving and we want to do something that might not feel good for our body, how are we going to have another way out if we don't plan it? Now, another thing that I have quit this last month that I will be continuing to quit as I go into the end of the year is having alcohol in any form, even on occasion. So I was never really one over the last couple of years to even care much about alcohol, never really crossed my mind during the week. And since I have no social life and you guys are basically my only friends, not even joking, seriously, somebody, if you live in the West Coast, call me. That's a whole nother can of worms that I'm working out with the Lord right now. Anywho, yes, so I am not drinking alcohol. The reason was never to lose weight, but my goodness, it sure does make a difference when it comes to your weight loss. There's a few reasons for this, you guys, and I gotta tell you them, because if you don't hear these, you're not gonna ever wanna quit alcohol, because alcohol's fun sometimes. It is not a sin to have a glass of wine and enjoy that with your husband. I am not pointing that out for you to feel like any sort of way bad. But for me personally, because alcohol is a depressant, it's kind of a really weird thing where it's like it feels really good for 20 minutes, but then it brings you actually a little bit lower than when you were before you would have even had that glass of wine. And because I'm someone who openly shares often on this channel about my mental health, my struggles, the fact that I take medication, and it's now winter, holy moly, it's dark early, I cannot risk anything that is going to put me in a place where I'm just feeling less than optimal. I now know what feeling optimal feels like, what kind of mom I show up as when I am joyful, when I am on point. I know what that feels like. And so when I have something that takes away from that, it really encourages me to play the tape forward and see what will happen if I eliminate this? What could happen? And God has been so faithful with asking me to do this thing and then me following through with it. And I have felt so good. It took about 2.5 weeks before I really noticed my energy increase. But there are so many things that even one glass of wine will affect for you, like your sleep, like your anxiety, so many things. Not to mention, 100,000% certain that I'm allergic to sulfites and basically everything else like dairy, gluten. We'll get into that. The next really important habit that I am giving up over this last season of the year is the foods that hurt my body. Straight up, this was not about weight loss. Even though it's happening to my body as I start to make these changes, whether it be inflammation that's gone or actual weight loss, I am feeling better because I'm not eating the things that I know trigger me. Again, this is not something that I probably could have done when I was recovering from my binge eating, because every time I restricted, I would snap back at myself, self-sabotage. Holy moly, what an exhausting season. Praise the Lord, I'm not there. If you would like to watch that testimony, I just re-uploaded it. I can link it in the show notes below. But it is a known fact for my body that gluten, dairy, and sugar are causing all of these pimples, which you can't see because I've covered it up with a lot of makeup. But I have a lot of scarring. My back is covered in scars. I've been in denial that these are hurting me in the way that they were. And about 2 weeks ago, 2.5, 3 weeks, I guess it's already been that long, I started noticing ripping gut pain. I couldn't go to bed one night without feeling awful. And let me tell you, that affects a lot of people in this family because I'm laying on the couch with a heating pad, feeling awful, not being able to get ready the things that I need to get ready for tomorrow. And we know with 5 kids, I need to be on it the night before in order to have a successful day the next day. But I couldn't because I was in so much pain. And then the acne was just getting worse again after I had such good control over it. You guys, I was just about ready to make a video to tell you guys exactly what to do. And I do have supplements that I know work, and they're in the last video that I just did, the What I Eat in a Day. Also gonna link that one below. So I said, fine, I will take it way back to basics. I will take it back to the foods God made. I will go there. I will give it up. These habits of eating sugar, picking at sugar, saying it's okay, and then wondering, why do I have a stomach ache? So I took away a lot of foods right off the bat, and then I slowly let myself have one additional thing and to see if it would trigger it. So like protein bars, something that I love, but I was like, I don't know if there's a sugar replacer in there that's making my stomach hurt, or maybe it's the pea protein. So I really just went to meat and fruit because those are the 2 things that I know that my body can do well on. So I ate a lot of chicken for so many days in a row. I ate bananas and berries on repeat. It was very boring, but God saw me through it. And when I noticed my stomach starting to feel better, my mental health was so much better. It is so true that your stomach is super connected to your brain. Okay? And seeing as that this whole video, every single habit that I'm putting into place right now to end this year strong has been because I want to feel mentally my best so that I can serve those I love with abundant love in my heart and be able to give. This has been an eye-opening experience. And the last habit that I'm actually giving up is consuming things, not food, consuming stuff, getting sucked into that one extra thing at the store, bringing it into my home, and then feeling cluttered. I did a massive declutter yesterday, and in that moment, I realized how incredible the influence of stuff has on my mental health, being able to keep up with my house. If I can spend less time on the things in my home, the stuff that I'm picking up, I have more energy to do the things that I actually need to do, like meal prep or go for a walk. Right? These are all things that would be beautiful to do, but when your house is cluttered, all you can think of as a housewife and a homemaker is, oh my goodness, I need to tidy up. I can't function in this environment. Oh my gosh. And that's totally overwhelming. You need a clean slate, a clean space. So the habit of consuming, of saying yes to everything when someone's trying to give you something, or they're like, oh, here you go, I've got some hand-me-downs, or here you go, come take this, or you get sucked into that thing at the store. I'm being so intentional about what I bring in my home, which is causing me to have a clear mind, which is in turn affecting all the other things. Now, ladies, I firmly believe that one habit rolls into the next. Sleep, that's going to affect you in a huge way. Food, it's going to roll into the next thing. And every single time God reveals a new habit for you to work through, it is a beautiful opportunity to see how he will show up in that and just give you blessing in a new way. Oh, I'm starving. I'm out of here because I need to go eat something. My stomach is growling. I love you all. Thanks for hearing about my habits that I'm giving up this year. If there's one that rings true to you, comment below. Which habits are you dropping so that you can end this year strong? I love you all. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow me on over on Instagram @bodywithbriefitness, and we'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye.